Playing games with friends is great, but sometimes you want to settle down by yourself and sink into an epic single-player adventure. Though it's not been around for long, the PS5 already has stacks of excellent single-player games, mainly thanks to backwards compatibility. If you're lucky enough to have a PS5, then look our list to see our picks of the best single-player games on PS5. Don't worry, if you'd rather play games with friends, we've got you covered on another list. Number 1. Returnal. If you're up for a challenge, there's perhaps no single-player game on PS5 better than Returnal. From Housemarque, developer of hits such as Resogun, Alienation, and Nex Machina, it's a game that defies genre, combining elements of bullet hell shooters, roguelikes, and horror. It's absolutely brilliant as a result. In Returnal, you play as Selene, a woman who has found herself crash-landing on an alien planet. As if things couldn't get any worse, upon exploring, she then finds dead bodies that inexplicably look like her. With no multiplayer features to speak of other than online leaderboards for its daily challenges, it's also a strictly single-player affair. So, if you're after the best single-player games on PS5, consider this essential. Number 2. Horizon Forbidden West. If you played PS4 exclusive Horizon Zero Dawn, you'll already know a little of what to expect from Horizon Forbidden West. This sequel, bigger and better in just about every way, picks up where the first game left off. You reprise the role of Aloy, a hunter in a far futuristic world, tasked with taking down huge robotic machines and trying to make sense of the world around her. Horizon Zero Dawn doesn't have a native PS5 version, but that's also worthy of a mention as one of the best single-player games on PS5. It looks absolutely fantastic, as great as it looks, though it's probably Horizon Forbidden West's story that will keep you playing. But that's just one of a handful of reasons why this is one of the best single-player games you can play on PS5. Number 3. God of War. One of PlayStation 4's most loved exclusives is playable on PS5 thanks to backwards compatibility, and thanks to a patch that boosts the game's visuals while allowing for 60 FPS. It's better than ever on the new console. If you're yet to play this epic adventure, you're in for a treat. Take on the role of Kratos, this time accompanied by his young son, Atreus, or who you'll affectionately come to know as Boy. You'll experience a gripping narrative that has Kratos questioning everything he knows, all the while exploring a dark but beautiful world, slaying beasts ripped straight from Norse lore. There's much to love about God of War, so it's no surprise that it's one of the best single-player games on PS5. Number 4. Final Fantasy VII Intergrade. Final Fantasy VII Remake was already brilliant on PS4, but this PS5 remaster, titled Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, takes things to the next level. Enhanced visuals and reduced loading times make Final Fantasy VII Remake more enjoyable than ever before, as does the improved performance. But what really catapults it to must-play status on PS5 is a new gameplay episode called Intermission. With old faces making a return as well as introducing some new ones, Intermission will have you on the edge of your seat for its duration. And there's also plenty of side content to keep you entertained as well. It all adds up to making Final Fantasy VII Intergrade undoubtedly one of the best single-player games available on PS5 right now. Number 5. Spider-Man Miles Morales. Spider-Man Miles Morales was the first game we played on PS5, and it absolutely blew us away. It looks fantastic, the first truly next-gen game we laid our eyes on. But that's by the by. Regardless of how brilliant it looks, Spider-Man Miles Morales deserves a place on our list of best single-player games on PS5 thanks to just how good it plays. A standalone expansion to 2018 Marvel's Spider-Man. This time Miles Morales steps into the iconic Spidey suit and takes on the streets of Manhattan. With Peter Parker away, it's up to him to protect the residents of New York. And of course, there's plenty of trouble afoot. It's a shorter adventure than the original, but still packs in a hefty story, and plenty of side content. And if you opt for the Ultimate Edition of the game, you'll get a remastered version of Spider-Man 2, which we can confirm looks equally sumptuous on PS5. Number 6. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Ratchet is back, and thanks to some dimensional shenanigans, he finds himself a new ally. Clank thought he was really treating his best bud, Ratchet, when he presented him with the Dimensionator. But then Dr. Nefarious sweeps in to steal it right from under their noses. One struggle later and chaos is unleashed, with both Ratchet and Clank separated and sent to a new dimension. In this new dimension lives Rivet, a female Lombax dead set on thwarting her own version of Dr. Nefarious. And so soon Ratchet and Rivet find themselves working together to hopefully set things right again. With absolutely stunning visuals, brilliant DualSense implementation, and effectively zero loading times, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart is a technical tour de force on PS5. But more importantly, it's the most enjoyable Ratchet and Clank game yet, with meaningful gameplay tweaks and upgrades. If you're after the best single-player games on PS5, you really should consider this a must-have. Number 7. Kena Bridge of Spirits, the first game from Ember Lab, a company that has a history in animation. Kena Bridge of Spirits blends engaging gameplay with Pixar-like visuals. Playing as the titular Kena, you'll journey to a land that is rife with corruption, and it's your job to set things right. To do that, you'll have to help spirits cross to the other side, but it won't be easy. Thankfully, some woodland creatures known as Rot will assist you in your task, providing you can find them. They'll do everything from swarming your enemies to open up weak points for you to exploit, to traveling in bodies of water to remove outcrops of corruption in the environment. A fairly linear game, Kena Bridge of Spirits does give you a little bit of freedom to make wandering off the beaten path worthwhile. It also has some engaging puzzles and plenty of challenging combat. Overall, it's a phenomenal game with hugely enjoyable gameplay and a gripping story. So, if you're after the best single-player games on PS5, add it to your must-play list. Number 8. The Last of Us Part 2. Undoubtedly one of the best games on PS4. The Last of Us Part 2 is of course playable on PS5 thanks to backwards compatibility. It's been patched to benefit from reduced loading times and an improved frame rate on PS5 too. Needless to say, it's more immersive than ever on the format. Not just one of the best single-player games on PS5, but one of the best games of all time. The Last of Us Part 2 puts you in the role of Ellie. 5 years on from the first game, she's grown up quite a lot, and she's been through more than any 17-year-old ever should. Mostly a story of revenge, The Last of Us Part 2 follows Ellie on a cross-country journey to hunt down those who hurt the ones she loved, though it's an adventure that may become more than she bargained for. Once you've started The Last of Us Part 2, you'll not be able to put it down until you've reached its conclusion, some 20+ hours later. Trust us, let's